So what do you know about Scotland?
Bravehearts.
Bad teeth.
Haggis. They hate the queen. Fuck the queen. They will personally bring her body to hell.
But also, that's not in this. They only knew the three things. They didn't know the fourth. Sorry, hi, welcome to Rough Cuts. Happy New Year, everyone. We watched, as a treat, in Boyks' own words, Soccer Dog European Cup.
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
He started in the lab and took it to the net
You want to play?
with only one goal in mind: to bring a father and son together
It's over, Zach.
and maybe play a little ball. Now,
You got guts, but
he's fetching it like Beckham.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so, we learned that Soccer Dog, a very cool, very funny movie that we actually enjoyed a lot, shares neither writer nor director with Soccer Dog European Cup.
Which is
and you
unfortunate.
almost wouldn't notice.
It's unfortunate. Like, Soccer Dog is such a weird movie. It's
so
such a
good.
wild piece. Like, and it's very 90s.
Yes. Yeah. It's a very 90s weird, and it's got a lot of interesting comedy. There's one thing that this movie shares with it, now that I think about it.
Uh-huh. Is it soccer?
Okay, there are two things that this movie shares.
Fucking you forgot about soccer. Oh.
God damn. Well, okay, but the movie also forgets about soccer a lot, to be fair. And also dogs, and also just a lot of things. One thing that for some reason they decided was a really good song choice for all of these films about soccer is to pick it up. A thing that
Pick
you
it up, pick it
cannot
up,
do
pick it
in
up, pick it
soccer.
up.
You can't do it in soccer.
You can pick it up as much as you want while that song is
You
playing.
can pick it up anywhere that you get. It's not in the rules. If ska's playing, you are allowed to pick it up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ska in these movies.
That's why I wear my checkered Vans at all times, so I can pick it up. Never know. Never
At
know.
a
when
moment's
they'll be handy.
notice. Yeah. Like, there's an unbelievable amount of ska in these movies.
So it's weird though. I did a ska count. I did do
Okay.
a ska count.
Yeah,
There are
yeah.
12 scenes of ska music,
Excellent.
but there's only 6 ska songs.
Yes, I was gonna say there's 7 songs in the movie, and I'm like, oh wait, yeah, but one of them was the "Crying in the Rain" song.
One of them was "Crying in the Rain." I guess there's 5 ska songs because one of them's like knockoff Green Day.
Oh yeah. The other one was like a pop punk. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right,
So like
yeah.
5 ska songs, but 12 ska scenes.
Yes.
They got as much of use out of those ska songs as they could.
To be honest, like for a movie and a movie series that is obviously exceptionally indie with very, very low budgets, they spent a lot of money on these songs.
More money on the music than the camera equipment.
Yes. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like then camera equipment, sets, actors, like I'm not saying that ska is it would have been super expensive to get these bands and everything, but at
But
the
it
same time,
should be.
like, God damn it. But like, 98 to 2004, like
I will never turn my back on ska.
it's God. There's a lot of bands that you would probably recognize. Like honestly, there is stuff in here that it's like, oh okay, yeah, no, like there's not huge bands, but bands that you'd recognize if you know anything about like pop punk or ska from back in the day. And it's weird to see that they spent that kind of money on that side of this movie because
Yeah.
why?
So in Soccer Dog, they got the Aquabats, and they did Super Rad, and they're
Yes.
technically credited, but the Aquabats don't claim any relation to that movie in any way.
No, they shouldn't. Well, I mean, okay, the first Soccer Dog's good.
And Super Rad is a great song, and it fits the theme of the movie and the feeling of when it's playing. And in this, they got
Soccer
the
Dog's
Aquabats.
a good movie.
Yeah, they got the Aquabats, but they did Canis Lupus, which is a song about dogs. So in theory, it should relate, but it doesn't at
in
all.
theory. Well, that's because, let's get to the main thrust of this. Where's the fucking dog? Sorry, excuse me. Where's the fucking dog?
You gotta get more Scottish.
Bad
Yeah.
Scottish accent in here somewhere.
I didn't expect the whole movie to be in Scotland, I'm gonna be honest. The Scottish accents are a hell of a thing.
Some of them are good. Some of them are very obviously English people trying to do Scottish accents.
Yeah.
Some of them are over-the-top Braveheart stuff. Some of them... There's a lot of Braveheart in this. Oh my god.
There's
a
so
lot.
much Braveheart.
Did you know that Braveheart's from Scotland? Did you know William Wallace? Do you know him? Scotland, Braveheart, Haggis, Braveheart.
Yeah. And at the pub. Drinking at the pub. Pub drinking? Drinking at the pub.
And also, of course, they all have very obviously, like, gross, yellowed, orange, rotted teeth.
Yeah,
They
that's probably
zoom
the
in
most
on
racist.
a lot.
That's
and it's
like...
just-
It almost feels like an Austin Powers joke with the yellow teeth.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the one character that has the really yellow teeth, and that's the Braveheart character. So...
Yeah.
Anyways, how does this movie start?
It's the Family Guy meme of them holding up like the skin palettes and like the what you label people, except that it's teeth colors and it's like there's a line that's Scottish. It's like, wait, this yellow are better, and you get more and more Scottish as you go down.
It goes American to British on a white to yellow teeth scale, and then below British is Scottish.
Yeah.
That's how it works, yeah.
God. Because like the more Scottish you got, the more yellow your teeth were, apparently.
Like all good movies about soccer, we need to start with the Nazis. Did the Germans do anything in the 40s I should be aware of?
Gentlemen,
Okay.
I
No?
give
Okay.
you the future.
Our movie opens 1940 in an underground Nazi experimentation
An underground
lab.
Nazi base where they're making a super soccer dog.
Now you may be
sounds like
saying,
a joke.
what? Well, also you may be saying, wait, this sounds awesome, which I thought too. I was like, okay, all right, this is fucking wild. I'm in.
No,
Yeah,
it's not. It's a half-baked idea. They just wanted to put a Nazi in the movie.
it's not half baked. It's not a quarter baked. This thing is still in the freezer. They haven't pulled it out to throw it into the oven.
This feels like a first draft. Yeah, so there's a Nazi making super
dog,
sports
yeah,
dogs. And the dog knows how to count and understands human language. And all these things that are definitely going to be relevant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tons of relevant plot important stuff here about this super dog made by Nazis in the 40s. And then jump to modern day, which it is modern day, and that's a modern dog, but it was the 40s.
I think it's implying the dog lived 50 years also. I don't.
But did
there's
the
a lot of
scientists
questions.
also? Because they didn't age. The scientists didn't age.
I don't know.
And like,
I don't know. I think
what
they
about
just
the other
time skipped
scientists?
for some reason, and I don't know why.
I,
But the dog escaped by pressing a bunch of numbers on a pad with its paw on every number.
which
And
is
it was very
okay.
funny.
That one, you know how much we love to see fake dog paw, and number pads and dog paws are perfect fake dog paw moments. They improved on fake dog paw. I'm gonna say, for once, they did better than that. That's a thing that I'll give this movie kudos for, because
Yeah,
this
they
dog
got
just
real dog paw.
they got real dog paw, and what they did is they just had the dog mash literally every number at once, just slap, 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 slap. Done.
So it escapes to ska music from this Nazi compound.
Pick it up,
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
It sounds like a shitpost, and it's not.
and it escapes to Scotland or whatever.
Or they were in Scotland. They were the Scottish Sherman.
I think the dog hitchhiked on a vehicle going to Scotland.
I don't think drive to.
Was the compound in Germany? That's my question.
I don't know. They don't answer any of this. There's no answers to any of this.
But maybe the dog came from Argentina. It's hard to say. But
there are 6 scenes in this entire film with those Nazi scientists.
Yeah.
Actually, it might be less. There's like somewhere between 4 and 6 is what my guess would be.
They don't really do much of anything.
No.
But they're there. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, my biggest problem with this movie, after the Nazi dog, super dog thing, is I think it's highly derivative of other films.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, this is just every dog movie that we've watched.
Because you were talking about Slapshot. I did watch the trailer for Slapshot while we were waiting to record.
Yep.
I see the resemblance.
Yep.
I get it.
Yep.
The main character, Brian, even looks like the main character in Slapshot.
Man, that's kind of insulting to Paul Newman, but...
Paul Newman looks like a fucking car. I've seen cars.
Jesus Christ.
He's a fucking hornet. You can't lie to me.
Oh, man. But... Yeah, no, so they have 3 soccer players that all look very similar and have, like, long hair and thick...
Black glasses.
Like, thick-rimmed black glasses.
Yeah. Only a big stupid idiot would wear thick black glasses.
Mm-hmm. If you've ever seen Slapshot, there is 3 brothers on a team that all look similar, that have long dark hair, and they're all kind of idiots, and they're pretty rowdy, and they have thick black glasses. Like, it's just... It's so obviously that, and I don't love Slapshot. I'm not really a sports movie person, but man, Slapshot is a million times better than this. Like, it's done interesting there. Part of it is they don't really use those characters. They set them up for something, and then they just drop it.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. They have quirky characters, but they don't use them well. Where... No. The first soccer dog had, like, Mafia Kid.
Yes.
Which was
And Mafia
great.
Kid has an arc.
Yeah, it had Dog Catcher, who was, like, a serial killer.
Yeah.
It had the referee from, like, Salute Your Shorts.
And, and like, a lot of those characters had, like... Those characters had arcs, right? Like, the character of the dog catcher went through this whole thing of, like... He vowed vengeance against the dog and burned his dog catching certificate because he was like, I don't deserve this until I get the dog. And like, does that whole thing. The Mafia Kid like starts out kidnapping their own team and like trying to like to throw the game so they can bet on it and stuff and like have rigged games. But then he like comes around to the rest of the team and like uses his connections to fuck with the other team and stuff. Like, do you know what I mean?
They're like characters, is the thing.
They're characters. They do things. Yeah. They don't just have one thing. This one has Braveheart guy who... He's Braveheart. He just... Every scene, he yells, freedom! And paints Braveheart, like, tattoos on his face. Yeah. And then runs around shirtless. And
what is Braveheart's motivation? What does Braveheart do every day?
Freedom! That's right. Braveheart gets up, puts on his kilt,
and yells
puts
freedom.
on a shirt sometimes, yells freedom, goes to the pub,
and
then goes to practice and sits on the stands. Like everybody else in that fucking team.
Yep.
Like
that's all they do. That's their limit.
The 3 rowdy brothers, like, they do this big setup of, like, Rob, leave me alone. And it's like, I'm not Rob, that's Rob. I'm Randy. This is, like, you know, we all look the same.
Bob, Rob, and Randy, yeah. Okay. They never mention their names again.
No.
After that joke.
That's what I mean. Like, they set up this whole thing, and then they go, okay, well, like, the kid comes over, God, the kid, and tells is like coaching their soccer team basically and is like, well, why aren't they on defense? They're obviously your best defensive players kind of thing. They're like tanks. And then they put them on defense and they make this whole thing of like, no, like, but we always attack. And then they never show them in a scene for like 45 minutes. And you're like, okay, well, but
Yeah.
there's like a whole setup for how their team is shaping up and what those three are going to be like and the stuff that they'll do as characters. And they basically never get another speaking line.
Like, this would be like if they introduced Data in The Goonies. And
Yes.
And then Data's just in the background holding a clock the whole time.
Yeah. Like, Data does this
Well,
big
somebody
entrance
else
scene.
does something.
Yeah, like his big entrance scene where he zip lines in and everything, and they have, like, that whole thing uninterrupted.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the rest of the movie, he never says a single word. And you're like, well, but what about that?
What about that cool character you
What about that?
introduced?
Isn't that kid doing something? What is, like, don't we get to go back to that? It's like, no. Nah.
Isn't that kid in
yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once? What's happening?
Yeah. He should be everywhere all the time. I love that kid. He should be in more stuff. God damn it. Fuck. You were just waiting for that setup. You did this whole thing just to get that. I know. God damn it.
Anyway, we have to talk about foot fetishes. So,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
this fucking
Do we ever?
Okay, so the dog makes it to soccer practice, and we find out that there were 2 soccer players in this town of Peterborough, Scotland, who were very popular and very good at soccer, and one of them went on to the major leagues, and the other one chose not to go, which is Brian, our main character. And the other guy...
Absolutely not a loser. Definitely not. Everyone
Definitely
says he's
not
not
a
a loser,
loser.
so he can't be a loser. If you say it lots and very, very loudly, that means you're not a loser. Just constantly, I am parading around with a shirt that says, not a loser, and I run around with a megaphone that goes, I am not a loser, as I walk down the street, and everyone knows then how much of not a loser I am.
The other guy is called Foot, and he's a major league soccer player.
Is our fetish about him? It's about him, right? It's not.
It's about him because
But also it is about
He made-
feet.
he made a cologne called Foot Cologne, which smells like stinky feet. And then every time he's on screen, his secretary is sitting at a table with her feet in the air, directly in camera, rotating her ankles very awkwardly in a sensual way.
Sure is.
Feet. Oh boy. Why? Here's my question. Why is this a recurring theme in dog movies? It keeps happening.
Because that's where the weird, pervy directors can just get their shit off.
Like, I don't want to yuck someone's yum, but don't make a dog movie about it.
We've realized though that like this is apparently like the hell that all dog directors go to. That all they want to do is they want to direct foot movies, but nobody will let that happen. So they go, wait, but I'll throw a cute dog in, and all the people go, oh, cute dog. Oh, well, you know, I can still have my foot scene. Yeah, you can't have your foot scene.
We need to point out the dog is... I'm not even sure this is a real dog, to be honest, after watching this movie. I think the dog's CG.
No,
hard
it
to
looks
tell.
too good. No, it's easy to tell. You can tell because boy, that fucking soccer ball looks real garbage.
The soccer ball is definitely CG.
Yes.
Yes, that the dog is hitting at
PNG
any
soccer
point.
ball. God.
It looks real bad.
It's
but-
unbelievably bad.
But the dog shows up to Brian's team's practice in Peterborough.
Yes.
And they all suck at the game. They're the worst team you've ever seen. And as they're playing, a lady drives up with a kid. And she stops and talks to Brian. And she's like, by the way, I'm a lawyer from New York, social services. This kid is yours. Remember this lady you had sex with?
And he's like, well, but that was 13 years
Like
ago.
13 years
Anyways,
ago?
here's your 13-year-old son.
12 and a half.
Sure.
Which still doesn't add up to eight months.
It's
but
okay.
Whatever.
That kid's also like 14.
That kid's older than 12, yeah.
By a lot. Like at least 14.
And then you see, like, the gears turning in his head. He's like, wait, but steel's heavier than feathers. Wait, but a pound of feathers and a pound of steel, but steel's heavier.
So anyway, so new mom, I mean social worker.
She never does become new mom. Like,
Yes, she does. Yes, she does it off screen. They do it in a fucking ending recap.
he said she's going to come back to
No,
Scotland,
they
and he
very
hopes
much
that it's
imply
for
it.
his dick.
It's pretty. This movie sets that up pretty solidly that it's for his dick. But also, okay, I want to reverse for just a second and then also recap some things. So we've got, when you were saying that the foot thing happened and the weird, like, so there was a foot scandal, and it was
the foot
that they were
scandal,
that they were experimenting on dogs for their cologne, and we see a bunch of scientists that are not the Nazi scientists, and they also know this soccer dog, the same one that was done by the Nazi scientists, but they're not the Nazi scientists, and they come back a couple times in this film and see that dog and go, oh my god, that's our dog that we were experimenting on.
Well, they're not
But
Nazi
they're-
scientists. They just immigrated to Argentina in the 1940s.
But they're different from the weird Nazi scientists that did that. And they don't ever explain if these are the same groups or different groups.
That's really weird how they know the Nazi scientists, apparently, huh? It could be anything.
It could be anything, god damn it. But okay, but right now, so we've introduced the plot of... So we have... This is like 5-10 minutes into the film, right? So we now have...
It's very early, yeah.
We now have a genetically engineered Nazi dog. So we have a genetically engineered dog. We have Nazi scientists. We have other scientists that are question mark maybe after a dog because of scandals of like using them for experiments.
Animal
You have a like scandal plot point with this weird foot guy that they actually have a whole scene with him. You now have a soccer team in Scotland, and now you have a rivalry between two people. You now introduce a long-lost son. You have, like, 8 fucking plots.
Look, the writer saw a bunch of movies that weekend, alright? like, what do you can't give him too much, hassle.
And how many plots are we going to pay off in this film?
Well, one?
Let's go and
One?
see.
Maybe?
So I just wanted to recap that real quick, just to kind of give the crash course of like, holy fuck, this is a lot front-loaded that just doesn't come about.
So Foot got in trouble for animal experimentation, creating his foot cologne that smells like feet, which killed a bunch of dogs.
Did you get it?
Definitely
Feet.
actually murdered a bunch of dogs.
Correct.
Yes, and his secretary puts him up to the task of going... Okay, first of all, YouTube sensation, this dog that plays soccer because of the soccer field, they recorded it and uploaded it to YouTube. The secretary sees it on television and gets the idea to bring Foot back to his hometown to play a sports ball game against the dog for charity to try and improve his image, but doesn't tell him it's for charity or that he won't make money by doing it.
Correct.
Okay, and then
So now there's another plot point.
And the team also has to accept playing with the dog, which they just decide to do because it's for a Petersboro animal welfare society that doesn't exist because they have no animals in Petersboro. So it's a fake charity, which is probably
so that means that he
back
is making
to
a lot of money, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know why he's mad about not making money at it, because it sounds like he's making money at it.
And then they decide to play with the dog because it's for charity. So at least they resolved, like, we're going to play the game, I guess.
But also, like, I love that the one thing that I do love about this is that, so he's a soccer superstar who got in trouble for his whole business thing, and he's doing this as a PR campaign. Why is the rest of the team doing this?
Oh, his
like,
team has to get punished because of him.
Yeah, collective punishment. Like, we're going to be doing community service together.
If you do a crime, the whole team has to commit.
Yeah, you got to.
That's just how it works. This is called bonding. A good coach.
God.
Anyways. Whatever.
I just imagine that his whole team was like sitting in the underground lab experimenting on dogs with him to help out,
like after practice,
We gotta do everything as a team together, man.
Yeah, they shower up and then go to the lab and put on coats and like goggles and shit, safety glasses. Oh, time to inject this dog for soccer. Fuck. Anyway, the social worker drops the kid off at Brian's house, which is a mess, but it's not.
It's
that
not really
much of a mess.
No.
And then they try to bond, but they realize that they literally don't know who each other are, and they don't bond, I guess. Okay. Sure.
Weird. It's almost like you wouldn't just surprise visit across the Atlantic to a long-lost relative to make them take a child. I don't know.
guess,
Seems like a thing you wouldn't do. Or shouldn't do.
The mayor starts distributing posters around town of Foot versus Kimball. Kimball being the dog.
The dog.
Who has not been named yet.
No.
And then in the exact next scene, the kid is walking out of the pub holding a bag of treats called Kimball's Dog Treats and his friend, Marble Mouth.
Catch you later, Marble Mouth.
What about my ball?
Oh, that's why
Gee,
he's
I
called
don't know.
Marble Mouth.
What about it?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, why is he called Marble Mouth?
But he's talking to him, he's like, and the kid's like, hey, wait, does the dog even have a name yet? Kimball, like these treats I'm holding. But the movie fucked up and named the dog before the dog had a name.
It did, yes. Yeah. He has to, like, look around to try and figure out a name for the dog. But meanwhile, the dog's wearing, like you said, like the dog collar says Kimball. He's holding treat bags with Kimball.
There's
posters in the
everywhere.
background that say Kimball. And he's like, oh God, we forgot to name the dog. I don't know. I guess I'll name him Kimball. That sounds like a good name. And it's like, what the fuck, movie?
I feel like that was just an editing mistake.
Yes, yeah.
It had to have just been out of order.
Yeah, they fucked up in continuity is what that is. That had to be.
So we don't have enough villains yet, so some Scottish kids show up to
Jesus
harass
Christ.
the American.
I forgot about the Scottish kids.
There's so
Actually,
many
'cause-
villains in this movie.
And so many plot points. And
For
they
no
all don't
reason.
go anywhere.
So they challenge the American to sports ball because he's American and they want to bully him, which fair.
Oh, you yank. Which,
Yeah.
fair.
No, that's fair, yeah. And they end up kicking a soccer ball through a window, which gets blamed on the American kid, which leads to nothing. Anyways,
Yeah.
the Nazis are making a super genius robot killer dog called Rommel, so that their other super genius dog can stoop it.
Do you get that they're Nazis?
Do you remember the Nazis?
Don't you remember how funny the Nazis are and their experiments? Oh, those wacky guys.
Well, anyways, let's go back to soccer now.
There's a 30-second reprieve to the Nazis. And now you have, like, a second Nazi underling who wasn't introduced before. You've got, like, the bumbling Nazi now. There was a Dr. Strangelove Nazi originally, and now there's, like, his bumbling assistant.
He's like the son of TV's Frank or something from Mystery Science Theater.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, the team is learning to play soccer for real, I guess, while the Nazis track them down to their field and release their super Nazi girl dog.
Yeah.
Great.
I want to point out, too, that they're making this team learn to play for real so that they can win this charity game, maybe? Or, like, any game. But they are the worst team in existence by a lot.
They're bad. They're 0-12.
Like, it's...
Yeah.
Well, but it's not even like they're... Okay, but they would be bad if they were 6-year-olds. Like, this would... If this was 6-year-olds playing instead of grown-ass men, you'd be like, wow, that's a really bad team of 6-year-olds. Someone should coach them. It feels weird how bad they make them considering they're grown men. Like, they're like running around with their shoes untied, like tripping over each other. Like, it's just...
So it is
it's
a
not
kids
funny.
movie.
It's just done very...
It is a kids movie, but the adults all act like children.
Yeah. In a way
Yeah.
that's worse than most movies like that. Like, that's pretty common, but man, like, they extra. It's just... It feels like a movie filled with kindergartners. Like, it's just baffling.
So Foot shows up at the pub in Petersboro, and he's outside interviewing with a reporter from the BBC who's all like, how's it going? Nice to see you, soccer star. Love sports. Anyway, about those animal testing and killing of dogs, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, that's how you know that this isn't a reporter. They actually ask questions and demand
Hard-hitting
answers to
questions,
them
yeah.
on things that, you know, are relevant and matter and that are important.
And then the dude throws in that he's a doo-doo man and he likes poop. Because that's his other fetish. His poop.
Yeah, he does talk about his poopies.
Loves poopy. And then he sees Brian leaving the pub. And he's like, yo, Brian, I haven't seen you forever. Oh, last time I saw you, you were working at this piece of shit pub. What the fuck was it called?
Oh, the pub that you're in right now.
Oh, that pub. The piece of shit. Wow. Really know where your life went, huh? Haha. Great.
They have to throw in a few more, oh god, it smells like haggis. Oh, the stinky, stinky pub. Oh, Scotland stinks so bad. Ew, gross, Scotland. Ew, stinky,
Yeah, the
stinky
one thing about Scotland is it smells like poo-poo at all times.
Smells worse than a New York
Yeah.
subway, says the kid.
Yeah, and I've seen... I've seen the Jason movie where they go to New York. It's just toxic waste barrels everywhere.
Everywhere.
And the whole sewer is toxic waste. I've seen it. I know how this works.
So you know that Scotland's pretty bad. They really fucking hate Scotland for some reason.
I think they're hamming it up, but it's also clearly not
obviously.
someone from Scotland.
No, they just know nothing about Scotland.
Yeah. So Brian decides to quit the team. He quiet quits by doing exactly what's asked of him, which is the worst thing a millennial can do.
Mm-hmm.
And the team's all bummed out because he's not going to play the game because he just doesn't want to keep losing. And he's a loser. You're a loser.
Which, okay, I mean...
I guess.
So he doesn't want to play this charity game against the rich asshole to clean his image for no benefit to himself or anyone else.
Yeah.
Gee.
Weird.
Wow. Why would he want to not do that? I can't think of a single reason why I would not want to do that.
And of course he's drinking at the pub. This is like the
Of course.
5th or 6th scene of them drinking at the pub. And he is
yeah.
smashed.
Wait, maybe they do know something about Scotland.
I mean, the mayor drinks at the pub. He just
Yes.
shows up. He's like, I'm the mayor. We're going to make policy decisions here.
You know, I might be wrong about them not knowing anything about Scotland now that I think about it.
But as Brian's smashed, Foot shows up and starts taunting him. So Brian's like, hey, man, you know that soccer game?
Well, we're gonna put up something you care about. We're gonna wager. And it's gonna be this pub that you don't give a flying fuck about, that you didn't even remember the name of.
Yeah.
But now you're super excited for it. He's got the biggest hard-on in the universe for the
We're
pub.
going to bet our pile of shit pub for your championship cup. I'm not drunk, you're
okay.
drunk.
Why would anyone agree to this, and why would he want the pub?
Anyway, he agrees to it.
And how can he give them the soccer cup that
The World Cup that he won?
like the World Cup or something?
I don't know,
They
yeah.
don't name what cup it is. They just said, "Give me the cup." Which, okay.
Maybe they mean
Maybe-
his jockstrap.
it's fuck. God damn it. I was like, I need to sniff it. I have my own fetishes.
Yeah, maybe
Everybody's
that's
got a
another one
fetish.
of his fetishes. Yeah, you don't know. He's called Foot. It could be anything.
I'm pretty sure he's foot for the feet. I'm gonna say that's
Foot,
probably what it is.
Foot,
It's
feet.
probably not anything.
Get on your fucking feet.
Anyways, pick it up to the soccer
Pick it up,
game
pick it up,
where
pick it
we're
up,
now
pick it up.
wagering nothing.
Nothing. So they go to the charity event. Foot finds out that it's a charity game and that he's not going to make money and he's very bad.
And then they just go and do the charity game anyway.
And then they just do it anyway because who gives a fuck. So they're playing the game, and the dog's there, and it's kind of back and forth, I think. Oh, no, the dog isn't there right away because the dog needs to go potty. That's what it was.
Yeah, well, no, the dog is there right away, but then the dog needs to go potty about, like, a little ways into the game.
So one thing about the dog being a super genius is that it uses a human toilet, which is important.
Sure.
So the dog's looking for a porta-john.
Well, because it's the only way they could think to trap the dog, right?
Yeah.
Realistically, the only way that you can catch dogs is by tricking them into using a porta potty.
So the Nazis catfished the dog into
Hey,
a
do you remember that
porta-john.
there's Nazis in this movie? Because the movie forgot, but now it remembers.
And traps the dog in the porta-john with a screwdriver, and then drives off with it, and we get a high-speed chase of them not being chased at all. And then
It's such a high-speed chase that the reporter who was on foot manages to talk to them when they get caught. Like 5 minutes later.
because the BBC reporter... No, what happened is the BBC reporter got ahead of their vehicle on a side road, made a barrier in the road, and then got out and interviewed them. And that's what made them stop. What? And then the lawyer and the kid show up in their car and just remove the screwdriver and take Kimball back with them to the soccer game.
And that's the end of that scene. No one in this movie ever talks to the Nazis besides that reporter.
Well, at the end of the movie, they're like, the Nazis were never seen again. And they never
weren't.
explained
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. They were never seen again. They were barely seen at all, in fact. Like I said, they are in closed scenes. The Nazis are only in scenes with themselves
maybe they couldn't get them
this moment.
Yeah, maybe they couldn't get them to show up on the same shooting days or something.
I guess. But they're only in this movie. This is the only scene that they share with other people. And the only lines that they share with any other character is with the reporter. And that's it. And I don't even think they answer the reporter. I think the reporter just asks them. They literally have zero impact on the movie. It's fucking ridiculous.
My other theory is they added in the Nazi plot after finishing the film. And they're like, we need more.
It does come in at a tight 1:30, 52 with credits. So...
They must have added it in to add an
This
extra
could very
10
easily
minutes.
be double spacing the script at the end of it.
Yeah.
Yes. yeah.
But, like, if you're going to add something, why would you choose Nazis in your soccer movie?
We may never know.
The dog shows back up just in time for them not to cancel the game because Foot's a big whiny baby.
No, it's supposed to be the dog. I have to play the dog.
And they play the game, and their team starts turning around and getting goals. So then Foot does exactly what any Donkey Kong world record holder would do. That's right. He cheats.
And he absolutely annihilates some dude, wrecks his ankle. And so then they call their one guy off of the sideline who had a handy cam and was filming this movie.
Oh yeah, there's a handy cam that's actually... I think they literally use the handy cam prop in the film.
Oh yeah.
Because there are so many scenes of a low frame rate camera and hand cam that looks awful.
For action shots, yes. There's a lot of high-speed action on the soccer field that is captured by a camera that cannot keep up with it.
And I think it is just the camera they were showing in those scenes.
I think it's just that camera. Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, I'm in the game, let's go. And then he slips on some grass and kills himself with the camera.
Dies instantly. There's a cloud of dust and he's laying in the middle of the road dead. So then they do the only reasonable thing, which is to get the 12-year-old American who doesn't like soccer and has never played it and bring him into the game.
And how does that go? A small child in a game full of adults.
And a dog.
And a dog. Well, the dog's barely there, let's be honest.
Yeah.
This is very much not a soccer dog movie, unlike Soccer Dog, the movie.
This movie has very little emphasis on soccer or dogs. We've
A
kind
lot
of
of emphasis on Scotland, though, and Nazis.
A lot of emphasis on Scotland. Well, really, what I was going to say, we've actually been brushing over the majority of this film, which is sad scenes of dad that doesn't know how to be dad with son who doesn't know how to be son, and they don't like each other, but he has to have
that's
him
all
because
garbage fluff, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's, hey, welcome to the movie. Put that on the fucking cover, friend, because yes, that's the movie. It's garbage fluff. Yep, you're right.
Yep. There was the scene where Brian was crying in the rain.
rain.
As a slow punk rock song played. That was pretty good. And it was all like, Brian's crying because he's sad. And it just like explained what was happening as it happened. Yeah.
So anyways, the soccer movie happens and the kid gets to take a penalty shot because of course the big adult man fucking wrecks his shit for no reason because I don't know, that's the thing they wanted to do.
He gets red carded out of the game because of that.
Yeah. And they let the kid have a penalty kick. But he misses because he's never played fucking soccer in his goddamn life. But then the dog headbutts it in because the dog's real good at the soccer.
I feel like letting the dog make the shot kind of subverts the whole father-son plot line. Right?
Yeah.
The whole point was the kid succeeds, which makes the dad succeed, which brings them closer together as a family.
But then that wouldn't resolve the dog playing soccer cycle of things, and the dog would be less important to the movie than it already is, which is already pretty damn unimportant. This is the problem of having 9 disparate plots that all don't intersect in any fucking way that makes sense. There is no way to resolve this film and actually have anybody have any fulfilling...
The Scottish kids that he was being bullied by...
They never show up again.
They kind of just became background characters in the stands. And that's all they do.
Yeah, they're just
They never resolved them being mad at the American.
No, they play a game of soccer. The kids cheat. They go, well, we'll be back. And then they're never back.
Just like the Nazis.
Just like the Nazis. And also the non-Nazi scientists, question mark, that might also be related to the Nazi scientists, but they don't actually say, so who knows? Maybe they were just the animal experimenter scientists.
Whatever.
And that's different than the Nazi scientists, maybe? We don't know.
So anyway, Brian wins. We forgot to mention Brian got struck by lightning at the beginning of the movie.
Oh,
you know why we forgot to mention it? Because it's completely unimportant and irrelevant.
That is the weirdest fucking thing. The movie opens. That is literally the opening of the movie. We actually didn't really mention that.
After the Nazis, he gets struck by lightning.
Lightning never they say lightning never strikes you twice. And he's standing in the middle of a sunny soccer field and gets electrocuted by lightning. And he's like, and then at the end of this film, he's like, oh, I got struck by lightning twice, but it was a different shock.
Is the metaphor that the lightning was the kid and the dog entering his life, I guess?
Yes?
It's very loose, if it is. It makes
but also,
no
what
sense.
the fuck does the lightning strike have to do with anything?
So, they won the game. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, after they won the game, what happened to Foot? I don't fucking know.
They don't mention it.
They don't mention it.
They don't say
There was
anything.
no... the only thing is he lost his cup. Because he didn't have the cup.
Yeah, they meant... So they give an afterwards, like, a spoken word, like, montage of, like, oh, well, and then so-and-so went on to this, like, fucking...
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. But they do that for the Nazis, where they say they were never seen again. But then they don't even give that much to Foot, the actual main antagonist. They don't even give him an afterword at all. I love that they did some. The Nazis have more effort, despite their ending being, and they were never seen again. Literally one sentence.
They
and
mentioned
that's
the
more
lawyer,
high effort than the actual villain.
Yeah, but the lawyer comes back because she wants his dick.
Because she really wants that dick.
That's it. Even though there was no spark of romance at any point in this film.
Nope.
In fact, she mostly just lurked in the background, staring at him through doorways.
God, yeah, they have a scene where he's
stalker.
having like a tender moment with his son, and like they have like a little fight and stuff, and then the kid walks out, and she's sitting in the background the whole time, peering around a door, like watching them. And the minute the kid's gone, she's like, "So anyway, time for me to butt in." It's like, whoa, like what are you even doing here? Still,
here's my other question: what happened to Kimball? Where is Kimball at the end of this? Do they not give a shit? Did the dog keep playing soccer? Did they go major league?
They don't give a shit.
Nothing happened to Kimball. Why was Kimball in the movie? Why does it being a super smart Nazi dog matter?
This movie feels like they made a father-son soccer movie, and then they were like, "Oh fuck, it's 40 minutes," and then they went,
and they panicked.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's add in Nazis. Okay, well, how do we add in Nazis? I know, they can be fucking around with a super engineered dog. Well, why would the dog be involved in this? One of the Nazis likes soccer and teaches the dog soccer, and then the dog can go in with that. Okay, we'll just add all those scenes in later. Like, it feels like that.
What happened... So the Nazis had their super girl dog, and they just left with it?
No, it died.
Did it
remember?
Die?
Well, there was the whole scene where it goes to chase them and they slam a door on it, and then the dog's... And then they show the dog laying on the ground unmoving.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to
awkward,
and that was literally the last scene of that dog. So I'm just going to guess that they fucking murdered Rommel, the Nazi dog.
Huh.
That's the only explanation that I can have.
Soccer movie, everyone.
You know this is a dog film because it killed a dog. Anyways, let's rate the dogs. Boys, would you like to rate Rommel?
I'm not rating the Nazi dog.
Anyways, let's go ahead and rate the other dog, Kimball.
I'm not rating Kimball. Kimball's a Nazi dog, too. I'm not rating any of these dogs.
I guess, yeah, that's actually... Yeah.
Fuck these dogs. Fuck them dogs.
Thanks for listening to Rough Cuts, everybody. This is a wonderful episode this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy New Year. We got a treat for the start of the year. What a good symbol of what we're going to be doing on this podcast every week for 52 episodes or so. Hooray.
Yeah, and if you ever see another episode, make sure to pick it up.
And you can always pick it up over on our social media pages, like Twitter, still, somehow, at Rough Cuts Cast, or also on Co-Host, a better site, at Rough Cuts. Or you can email us, roughcutscast@gmail.com, if you have any, like, requests or fan things to send in. We've had a few pieces every once in a while, which has been really nice. And you can always check us out and help us on Patreon, too, of course, where we're Rough Cuts. So,
yep.
We do appreciate all the people who have helped us with that. It does mean a lot. We spend real money on these movies. God damn it. God damn it.
We also have a TikTok, so...
Yes, we do. We put up a lot of the little scenes and stuff from these. All right. Haggis.
Freedom! Nothing really funny or interesting in these credits, so...
Or the movie. Hey!